Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Dio, and coming this Saturday, Lauren Frey, coming directly to you. In fact, that's actually something I wanted to do today, is talk about upcoming projects, because I don't do that enough. I don't really address things I have planned. I haven't really set a schedule for myself, or at least made it publicly available. I have given statements in the past that I'd like to have this get out by the end of the year. I'd like to do this. I'd like to do this. I have plans. I've teased certain projects, but there have been times where projects have been shifted to the sidelines and they've been rescheduled and I have to prioritize something else. So I thought today I would like to give a brief overview of what I want my 2022 to look like as a novelist, right? This doesn't include YouTube content or anything, because that's all spontaneous stuff. What are my plans as a creator going forward? At the moment, I am anticipating the release of Lauren Frey. I've been promoting that. I've been talking about it incessantly. Posting links on my community tab. Lauren Frey is coming soon, 5 days soon. Very excited for that. It's already my most pre-ordered novel ever, and I am so grateful for the enthusiasm and the support from all of you. And it is well on its way, I think, to becoming my most popular novel. I think it's by far the best book I've written so far. I think it's technically sound. I like the characters. I like the setting. I like the way the plot turned out. Very close to my original vision. I don't want to say it was perfect or anything like that, but because I do wish, I wish I had the ability to make it longer, but I felt for the novels I'm working on now, I need to keep them relatively short. I need to keep them concise, and I need to keep the pace going. So Lauren Frey is coming out this Saturday. It's about a girl going to a magic university filled with monsters that hate humans, that all have different cultures and backgrounds, and it's just about her essentially trying to survive in this environment that's hostile to humans. She is a minority in this toxic environment. So again, the entire book is about essentially her trying to survive these horror scenarios in which all kinds of monsters are messing with her for all sorts of reasons. Elves look down on humans. You have carnivorous creatures like harpies that want to eat her in the street. You have things like that. You have vampire girls are everywhere. It is a disaster. It is a dangerous environment for a girl like Lauren Frey, a relatively normal person, to be in. And I think I really did a good job in establishing the setting as being a place where you can meet all sorts of people, people who are both very good and very bad. And sometimes Lauren isn't exactly the best person at deciding which is which. So that I think is going to be a very well received novel. Really excited for it. Coming on the 12th, February 12th, 2022, very soon. So what am I working on now? Now that Lauren Frey is 100% wrapped up, I have everything done. I just need to sell it to people. What's after that? Coming this year, I will be focusing my efforts on the next installment in the Order of the Dragon trilogy, the sequel to Eye of the Dragon, part 2 of the Order of the Dragon trilogy, Mouth of the Dragon, in which the protagonist from the original Eye of the Dragon, Jack, must go and kill 10 of the most dangerous individuals in the world. Now, this is a novel that was not exactly planned out very well. I actually had part 3 planned out first. And part 1 mostly came about because I felt that I really needed to establish the world and setting and characters before I really did what I wanted to do with part 3. So as a result of that, part 1 came after I planned part 3, right? Part 3 has always been in the back of my head. just lurking there. That was the original plan. Like, everything about Order of the Dragon has been building up to Part 3. And Part 1 was just establishing that. I was establishing, like, this is an action fantasy series. I was emphasizing how, like, the Order of the Dragon is an ancient order that's been protecting the world from supernatural threats since, like, the Middle Ages. Highly trained knights from a wide range of backgrounds with all sorts of cool powers, like, basically getting into shonen action battles with their enemies. And, I established that setting. I did a fairly good job of it. There are some things I look back on not all that fondly, but for the most part, I'm really happy with the way Eye of the Dragon turned out. So, Part 2 was actually originally supposed to be about building up the characters in Part 2 more in preparation for Part 3. But the thing is, Part 1 was so overtly focused on that, like both building up like some of the side characters. They kind of overemphasized, like overshadowed the actual protagonist, Jack. Jack himself actually does very, very little in Part 1. I did a way better job emphasizing, put way more emphasis, I should say, on emphasizing characters like Soren, like Lucille Langley, like even Margaret Meyer, I think, has more focus than Jack. I love Margaret, by the way. Never officially stated this, but she is one of my all-time favorites. I felt like I put such emphasis on these other side characters that are going to be very relevant in Part 3 that I really needed to take a lot of time in Part 2 to establish Jack as a legitimate threat, as someone who is extremely dangerous. And so I decided to take inspiration from the No More Heroes formula and kind of be like, okay, this is a shonen action series. Part 1 had a lot of exposition, it had a lot of build-up, it had a lot of drama. Let's have the sequel be Jack versus 10 of the most dangerous people in the world, right? Let's just have him fight and kill 10 highly dangerous combatants. Have him, like, really showcase his powers and abilities. And I've already talked about, like, the first of these 10, Bella Stone, the Medusa, with who incorporates the snakes in her hair and her martial arts. I talked a little bit about that, on the community tab if you haven't been paying attention. More characters in that vein are going to follow, and Jack has to sort of fight through all of them and become number one. Well, not really become number one, but just kind of like succeed, like just beat them all in single combat. It's going to be great. I'm really excited about this one. I'm coming up with all sorts of cool original ideas I really don't think have been done before as character concepts with unique, interesting powers that Jack has to overcome, and I'm really excited about this. This is the kind of thing I'm really, really into. It's like doing shonen action stuff. So, really looking forward to this one. And I fully expect it'll be the best novel of its kind that I've written. Cruel and Beautiful was kind of like that. Eye of the Dragon was kind of like that. I think it'll be better than both. I've gotten a lot of experience since then. I've improved as a creator, and I really think I can really hit it out of the park. Hopefully before June 2022. I do want to get this done before E3. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be released before E3, because I think that's going to be a little bit much, but I do want to spend a lot of time trying to get this thing done before the end of the year. Lauren Frey took way too long to make. I said, like, it should have been done by October. It really should have been done by, like, August, to be honest with you. Like, I really lollygag on Lauren Frey a lot. Like, I always knew where I wanted to go, but I just couldn't bring myself to get it done. And it should have been done quicker. That's my big complaint with Lauren Frey. It should have been done a lot quicker. Mouth of the Dragon, I am committing to a hard final finish date. Like, not published date, like finish date. I want it to be done by E3 2022. Okay, that's my goal. That's my deadline. That's what I want to hit, is get this thing done in the next 4 months. And I will be working on it this weekend. I will be trying my best. So, yeah, Mouth of the Dragon coming probably by the end of the year. Before the end of the year. We'll see. So what's next after that? After Mouth of the Dragon, one of the reasons I want to finish Mouth of the Dragon so quickly is that I really want to go back to older projects, stuff that was never actually finished, stuff like Dearly Beloved, stuff like Lightning Ike, stuff like Black Castle, and stuff like American Ninja. Like, I have a lot of unpublished manuscripts that are finished, that are technically ready for release, but just need a little bit of tweaks and maybe like a little bit of updates and maybe a little bit of changes, like some proofreading, like some maybe some additions, some cuts. Like there are things I want to do for sure for all those titles. But the one I want to do is the one you voted for. Actually, I did a while ago. I did a poll asking people what book they wanted me to work on next, and the overwhelming majority of you really wanted to see Dearly Beloved, which is interesting to me because I have always maintained that Dearly Beloved is the worst book I've ever written. For those of you who aren't aware, this is the one I wrote in a month and edited in another month, and just didn't do anything else with it. It is kind of a mess, in spite of being a really charming original idea. It's a romance. Radically different than any other romance you've read. It's very similar to Kingdom Hearts in the vein where it's very lighthearted and fluffy and kind of has that same trying to recreate that same vibe despite the setting. I really love the concept for Dearly Beloved. I'll always love Dearly Beloved as a concept, but I think it's one of my more original ideas actually. But the actual novel, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's lacking to me. I feel like I could have done so much more with this idea. I really do. So I want to go back and actually try to do my best to clear this novel up, to clean it up, and release it for the public, and start producing a sequel. This Dearly Beloved was designed from the onset to have like endless sequels. You'll see what I mean when I actually start explaining what it's about. But basically, it's about like the general concept is about like a couple who are in love going out on adventures together. So rather than like it being like The Princess Bride or Kingdom Hearts or anything like that, where you have the male character going to save like the damsel, you have like the couple who are already in love with each other, kind of going on a adventure together in a wide variety of situations, like meeting all sorts of different people and going on like all sorts of different adventures. Like I said, it's very Kingdom Hearts-ish in the sense where they're going to different places and doing different things and like showing different kinds of their personality and things like that, learning about themselves and each other. It is it is girly as fuck. It is. I can't believe I wrote it sometimes, but I am really proud of it, and I do want to see it released someday. And I do think that's going to be my project for the later half of the year, is getting Dearly Beloved done. Now, I've tried finishing it in 2020. I've actually updated it fairly recently. I made some major changes. I cut out an entire chapter because it was... that one was something. I cut out an entire chapter, and I really couldn't decide how I was going to replace it. Like, replacing an entire chapter from scratch. Because the ending, I think, is... I don't want to brag or anything, but I think my endings are actually pretty solid. Like, Dearly Beloved's ending is fine, from what I remember. But it's that one chapter that I think I'm going to have to rewrite from scratch and then like kind of thematically tie it into the rest of the novel. It's going to be a pain. I was so overwhelmed by it that I actually dropped it in 2020, and I think that's when I think that's when I went back to Rabbit Hole and like finished that. That's a whole other bag of words. So like I've long been trying to get Dearly Beloved out to the public, trying to get that one available, trying to really make it readable, because it really isn't. I want people to enjoy my ideas. I want to put in a lot of effort. I want to keep like pushing myself, and I want to keep doing new and interesting things. And I think Dearly Beloved is a good example of just how much variety I can bring to the table when it comes to like fantasy and stuff like that. I think I can do a lot of different things in a lot of different genres, and I think Dearly Beloved will be my first step in proving that. So I I'm really excited to release for that one to come out, and from there onward, I'm not exactly sure. I still haven't decided, and I suppose at that point we'll be talking about like projects that will be worked on in 2023, right? We'll be talking about like the following year. So I suppose I don't need to focus so much on that one. I imagine it'll be like after that point we'll be working on Rabbit Hole Part 2, probably Lore and Frey, probably the sequel to Lore and Frey, and probably like Part 3 of the Order of the Dragon, Heart of the Dragon, which I anticipate I'll work on immediately after Mouth of the Dragon, to get that trilogy wrapped up and out of the way. But for the most part, like I have no idea. Like the sky's the limit. Like there's all sorts of cool ideas I'm coming up with, all sorts of plans, all sorts of outlines, like even stuff I haven't really talked about. So I am very excited to continue delivering fresh, new, exciting content for you guys to enjoy.